slow to surrender with a little bit of some variances. So we're gonna start with hips, but just really small hip slides left to right. And as we move the hips, the goal here is to really push into the ground through our heels. So even though our hips are moving, it's the pressure through our heels creating this movement. Just left to right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's make it bigger and little figure eights. Focusing on the hips, but of course it's the pressure through the heels, adding this lift and bounce. And 5, 4, 3, 2. Now tilt the hips back, pull them forward. And yet tilt back, pull forward. Tilt back and forward. So right now we're focusing on this center of gravity with our hips and our pelvis forward. 5, 4. And let's bring it in and full circles. Notice that I'm still focusing on the hips, but it's through driving the heels into the ground. And now my knees are starting to become a little bit more involved in this movement. Circling around and around. Switch directions, go the other way. And as we're taking these circles, make sure you're still tilting back and then back forward. 3, 2, step it a little wider, straight leg tick-tock, still focusing on this hip girdle, left to right. But we're starting to feel a bit of a stretch down the side of our leg. And stay with me just a little longer. Sometimes these things feel boring, but they're so essential for the basics and the foundations. Now, I want you to just press into the left heel to push the right hip up and relax. Right and relax. It's pushing into the left, right hip lifts. Just now add a little mini squat. Just a little softness in both knees. To the side. 4, 3, 2, and switch. Dig the right heel, push up to the left hip. And now add a little dip, that little mini squat, focusing on the hips, pushing up and out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring it in. I need to fix my pants. If you do not need to fix your pants, you do not have to, but feel free anytime. So that's kind of focusing on the hips. Let's work into thighs and knees. So first, just kind of this, almost pretending like you're a Taurus, you're a bull, and slide the legs back. Just a few of these. This is about kind of bending through the knees without putting weight on them, but also creating length across our quads. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to bend the knees. Not quite a full squat. I'm letting my knees pop forward to start, but notice they're not going too far beyond the toes. And now I'm going to still go through this motion of dropping down, but now my knees stay put. I'm moving my hips back. So it's just a mini squat. We're not going low, so save your energy, but pushing back. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now shift your weight to the right leg. We're going to start off with hips and thighs and knees, in and out. Now you can use just the ball of the foot, or my favorite is heel out, toes in. Heel out, toes in. Heels in, toes out. Nope. Heel down, toes out. Yep, toes in, heel up. 5, 4, 3, 2, step switch. Toes in, soften the knees, and out. And you can stay on just the toes. You can make this smaller if you want. I like to add this little dip because then we're also working the muscles. Or that little heel out, toes in. Five, 4, 3, 2, and step down. Little lean and tap. Working a little bit of our obliques for balance just to wake them up, but we're gonna go right back down to the knees. This is just to make sure as we go on to single leg movements, our core is kind of like, oh, okay, we gotta help out. 3, 2, right foot down. Now all we're gonna do is take the left toes, bring it across and back. So we're pulling up through the knees and the hip flexors. Front and side. We're only doing a few of these just to kind of warm up. Let the core find the balance for single leg work. And now toes out, kick your hand. Kick your hand, just bring it in and out to the side, not just down. And now see if you can add a little shift. So lean into that left foot, but keep the left heel lifted, leaning into a bent knee. Kick up, lean. Kick up, lean. Try not to slouch forward. Get that foot to come up as high as possible. Even if it means you don't hit your hand, you're not leaning forward. 2 more. Last 1. Release. Switching sides. So it's the left foot down, right leg. And we're going to start off just stepping across and side. Bring it across and side. And you can take it smaller as long as that foot crosses over. I like to go a little bit bigger because then this shifting weight of my whole torso through my hips makes my core work a little. Helps me avoid more sit-ups later. Now let's go for that kick. Take it to the side, bring it across. Even if you don't hit your hand, you can make it smaller, but don't bend. So this is not something that we're working for our back. If I can't touch my foot, I'm just bringing it up. Now, if you want, add more by pushing into that heel, bend the knee, but don't let the heel touch the ground. Using exhales to help activate the core to help bring that lift up. Even if you don't touch the foot, touching the foot is not essential. 4, 3, 2, bring it in, release the heel, and then standing nice and wide, we're gonna lift the left heel up, bend the knee, and then we're gonna switch. So it's not just heel lift, it's bending into the knee. Not a full lunge. So this is a lot of balance work because we're not staying on our heels long enough to feel supported by the ground. It's knees, inner thighs, core. 5, 4, 3, 2, and step it in. Feet, just lining them up underneath your hips. Just a little knee wobble. And make the wobble because you're just rocking left to right on the edges of your feet. Don't worry about what the knees are doing or the hips. Kind of focus on the feet, rolling side to side. Focus on the feet. Now see if you can drop it down a little lower. Go deeper with the knees. You can take it slow or speed it up. I prefer slow for this one because then I can really focus on the ankles and the knees. Side to side. 3, 2, 1. Keep the feet this wide. What happens if we kind of do this little Elvis knee wobble? We don't have a lot of place to go. Step it a little wider. Give your knees and thighs more space to move. 5, 4, 3, 2. Still keeping those feet wide. What if we're to stick the bum back, straighten the legs, and then scoop the knees forward and back. So we're creating, I know it looks like it's my hips, but think about the knees, creating a circle forward, up and back. I'm not arching my back, it's not the spine, it's just the knees. Forward, up and around and back. Now reverse. Knees forward, down and back. Now this is so easy for me to like get my whole spine going, which we'll work on, but right now focus on those legs. 2 more. And bring it forward. Bring the feet a little together. And circle the knees away from each other, in and around. In and around. And yes, let your feet feel free to move all the way around, in and back. Reverse, in, around, and back. In and around and back. 3, 2, and bring it in. Now, before we do anything else, we are going to switch to the bands in just a moment. Thinking about the knees. Curtsy lunge with a tap. So it's tap, and then can you step the extra step a little further away and curtsy lunge. Bring it in. Tap, step. Tap, step to lunge. Tap, step to lunge. Tap, step. Tap, step. Now when you're tapping, don't go on the big toe. Get on the ball of your foot. Tap, lunge. Tap, lunge. Tap, lunge. Step, tap, lunge. 1 more each side. Last one. Grab your band. So we don't often use the loop band for this class, but today we are. We're going to start it at the bottom onto the feet first. Fix your pants, of course. And just keeping tension on the band. Little march. Now, the trick here is not to eat your hair, but also so that you don't buckle the knees in. This often happens. I see people do this. Bring those knees in line with your hips. Big toes in line with knees and hips. Now take the feet a tiny little bit wider than the hips. Create more tension. Breathe, breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to add a tap, step, tap, step. And the knees don't have to go high. Save some energy, but it's tap. But notice my feet kind of got a little closer. I want to keep my feet in my knees, just slightly past my hips. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and right foot stays. Pause. Shift your weight onto the right foot. Pull the left foot up and over. Not to the side, but right on top. And just a little pulse, pulling up. So the knee is pulsing up just that little bit. Hands can do whatever they need to for balance and support. And 5, 4, 3, 2, step. Before we switch sides, just a little tick-tock. And you can soften the knees. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now shift your weight to the left. Bring the right foot directly over. Whoop, the left foot. Don't grab your bush. I mean, household furniture. Sorry, that was my bad joke. Unintentional, by the way. Pulling up for that little pulse. This is through hip flexors, but there's a lot of core happening underneath to stabilize, for balance. Anything you need to do with the hands for balance, whether it's hands on your hips, belly, out in front. If balance is a real issue, you can always use a chair or the edge of a couch or a table. Don't use anything that moves, like a rolling chair, a family member, or a pet. 3, 2, and release. Before we switch sides and switch to the next thing, we're gonna tilt the hips back and just wiggle the bum. Straight leg, wiggle the bum. What we're not doing is arching. Strong back. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's bring that band up to around the ankles. Now, the trick here is not on the actual ankle bones, just slightly higher. We're going to just lean and tap, but notice there's tension right away. And I'm letting my knees pull forward. No matter how high I go, this is just a lean and tap. For now, we're gonna add a little extra. This tap is gonna turn into a step to the side. Tap and step to the side. Tap it to the side and try not to let the band go slack in the center. So if I come too close, the band's gonna droop and I'm not being challenged. Find that place of challenge. 5, 4, 3, 2, get ready. Still step it, but stepping it back. All we're doing is stepping it back. I'm not going for a back bend. I'm staying with my torso slightly forward. You can just have your hands out for balance, or if you want to add a little extra, reach forward every time the leg reaches back. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now take it back into the side. I'm hoping your butt cheeks are on fire just like mine, because mine are really on fire. Step it back into the side. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and heel it forward. Now you notice you can make it small, and this is always an option. You can always lose the band if you either don't have it or don't like it. But what we're not doing is making the tension less. So keep heels as wide as the hips when you kick it forward for the heel stomp. If I do this, there's almost no tension unless my leg's really far forward. Stay with me for 5, 4, 3, 2, and one last thing with this band as we're standing up. It's gonna come above our thighs. Making our knees work a little bit more. Give me some Elvis wobble knees. Just knees in and out. See if you can go for a little funky, I want to say chicken walk, but not sure what animal or beast or creature walks like this. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now just a little knee lift. Don't bring it up high enough that the band slides up. Now, can we march it? Keep those knees nice and wide. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and now it's just a little step to the side. And if you want to add a little fun, step to the side and then back. It's almost like a hop step. Pull that heel in behind. Think grapevine style. forward, back behind. 3, 2, 1. And guess what? We're going to come to the floor in just a moment, but take the band off. We're going to bring that into play in just a moment. Give me some hip wiggles, twists and shakes. Add a little shoulders. Go a little forward, a little back. Bring those knees up. Get a little silly, get a little crazy. Just the shoulders. Bring it just to the shoulders with a little bit of a walk. Keep going. Shoulders. 2 and 1. Roll the shoulders and the arms up and back. Pause for a second. Heart rate's up. Body's warm. Take a sip of water anytime you need. But there's this great, it's a good feeling when your heart, your body cooperates. So now, working a little bit into the upper body, focusing on just the ribs. Left to right. You can bring your hands to your hips, but notice it's not the hips moving, it's the ribs. Take the arms up a little higher. Try to reach and tap. Anything. 5, 4, 3, 2, palms up and back. Great movement, shoulder mobility work here, palms up and back. Notice I'm keeping my wrists around the same height as my shoulders. And I can keep walking, tapping, or just hold steady. You decide. Right palm up, left palm back. And see if we can add a little walk. Little walk and wiggle. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release the arms forward and reach up and around, forward, and we're just flowing with the spine. Inhale up and around. 2 more. And last one. We're going to step to the top of our mat and we're going to take back the right leg and we're going to pulse straight up and down. Now notice that I'm not bending my back knee, I'm keeping it nice and straight. The joke here is if you have a pencil, you could stick it underneath your butt crack, like the butt cheek there, and it would stay put. 5, 4, 3, 2, step and switch. Straight leg, nice and tall. Now don't lean into this, no pressure on your lower back. Straight leg, heel up and down. Exhale, squeezing up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and step to the top. I'm going to switch so I don't smack my head into the bush, not my bush, the bush. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive. Soften the knees to support hamstrings or lock. I don't like locking out my knees, but to really push to the hamstrings, I let my bum move behind my heels. So I'm not heels and bum line up, I'm actually pushing the bum further behind. Hands to the floor. If you need to soften those knees to get there, like I do, then that's okay. We're going to walk the hands forward. And just find your downward dog that feels stable. And we're going to let one heel bend, one knee bend by dropping the heel down and switch. Just a little walking dog here. Now, this walking dog, you're going to have to figure out if you need to move your hands or not. We're going to turn this into a walking plank, one heel at a time. Make sure you're extending along through the spine. forward and back, this little bounce in plank. 5, 4, 3, 2, pause, pull out all the way in plank, and then drop the knees. Still in a plank position, don't shift back in table. Now, see if you can go even further and lift the toes up so you're off your knees, but on the thighs, just above the knees. Pressing the ground away. 3, 2, and then gently pull those elbows in towards your ribs, lowering yourself to the ground. Woo! Rock the hips side to side. Staying nice and low. Rocking those hips. Now we're going to bend those knees, toes to the sky, still a little sway side to side. Now, elbows underneath your shoulders, forearms down. This is going to be a little bit of playtime, a little bit of experiment, okay? So if you're struggling with this one, if it's like, oh, hells to the no, just stay in the forearm plank. But let's see if we can play. Forearms down, pull up into your forearm plank. Your right leg is going to pull through and across and bring it back. And left, across, bring it back. So this is just the leg. Now, at some point, the leg and the arm have to move together. So my leg is going to come under, but then I realize I can't move my arms. So what if I keep my legs here, bring my right arm underneath, and roll onto my back? Join me on your back. This is where we're at. We're going to do it on the other side in a moment. Grab your band. Bring it up, around, and above your knees. Heels down to the ground. Exhale, lift up into a glute bridge, but not by overarching your back. Little pulse. Little pulse. Little pulse, squeezing those knees wide. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and release those hips down. We're going to now bring the knees up in a table. Still have that band, yeah? Exhale, this is an extra option, shoulder blades stay on the ground, the tips, but your chin and shoulders are lifted up. We're going to just extend one leg at a time. We can add a little twist. Exhale, twist, twist. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Bring the big toes to touch, but keep those knees up, and we pulse the knees wide. 5, 4, 3, 2, and take the band up around your feet like when we were standing up. And now bring those legs out to kick, nice and long bicycle legs, keeping those ribs hugged into the ground. Head and shoulders do not need to get up here. This is a lot of core work if you've got a band, and even if you don't, this is a lot of core work. If you've got the band, definitely bring that knee higher than the hips, but if you don't have a band, for that extra challenge, don't let the knees go higher than the hips. 5, 4, 3, and let's take that band out and off to the side. We're going to now flip ourselves back onto our belly. Forearms down, knees bent, push the floor away, lifting up through the hips and the belly button. Make sure you're on the actual quads, your thighs, not your kneecaps. 3, 2. Let's go ahead, release those toes, lift up into a full plank. And now it's the arm and leg that's gonna come through and back on your back. I know, a lot of moving around. This is just navigating the floor. It's about mobility. How many of us are actually moving around on the floor? Probably not a lot. But is it useful to get a hang of? Absolutely. Bring the knees in towards your chest. Even if you want to grab the back of your thighs, just don't grab the back of your kneecaps. Or rock it a little side to side. And let's stay with this for a little longer. 3, 2, and then we're going to rock forward and back. Rocking forward and back. Now, I'm a little too close to my basket, my bush here, but the goal would be, I'm going to move back so you can see, is can we go from this rocking all the way forward into table? Maybe, maybe not. Table, press the floor away, round the spine. Inhale, drop the belly, and give your tail feathers a little wiggle, a little shake. That means your bum, for the record. Can't see. Pull the belly button up, around the spine. You're gonna take the right leg back and down, calf stretch it out. Now, make sure that you've got really strong connection with your hands and the earth, because that right leg is gonna come up, bend the knee, and we're gonna pulse it up a few times, activating the glutes. But then this is gonna turn into a big old circle, drawing in, up and back. 2 more. Last one up. Take the leg up to the side. Heel in line with your knee. Forward and back. Of course, checking that I'm not giving you plumber's butt here. Forward and back. Forward and back. Now bring that right foot forward. Foot outside of the right hand, and we're pulling our hips forward. We're going for a little bit of a lunge here. Trying to stay as low as we can through the hips and not let that knee buckle out. I'm holding on to my thigh right now because this is also allowing me to take a look at the camera and see where my alignment is. But also for my back, I'm not tilting the hips. Hips are parallel to the floor, forward. Pause here, staying low, and then add a little pulse, a little rhythm. Just a small movement. Now we're slowly going to round the spine, curl up into a higher lunge. And just for fun, pull that heel back a little so we're more in marriage proposal pose. Without doing anything else, arch your back, stick your bum back. Then pull the tailbone forward. That pulling forward of the tailbone is actually giving my left quadricep, the one that's actually got the knee on the ground, a stretch. It's pretty cool. Now with the tailbone tucked, can we go forward? Not arching, pulling forward. My range of motion is smaller, but my stretch is a little deeper. 3, 2, and release. Bring that front foot back. Coming into a table again, and this time it's playtime in the table. Playtime in table. Fixing my pants and shirt. Keep playing, keep flowing. Now it's left toes back and down. Calves stretching it out. Now it's 5, 4, 3. And go ahead, push back, but then strong connection through your hands, pushing the ground away, not relaxing the belly. Bring that, whoop, don't kick your furniture. Bend the knee, and first just a little pulse. Activating glutes. Now circle up, in and around, and back up. Up and drawing in. Inhale up, exhale, circling it in. 2 more, and then take the leg up and out, heel lined up with your knee. And this little stretch, it's great for inner thighs, but it's also really great for our lower back, providing we don't go all the way to the heel. And start to slow things down. Inhale and pulling up. Bring that foot all the way to the top, to the outside of the left hand. And the goal here is to keep the hips moving forward. I'm checking that my knee doesn't turn in. I'm not tilting. I'm keeping my hips parallel to the floor. And now I keep adding a little pulse. I can let my whole body pulse or focus on just the hips pushing gently closer to the earth with each pulsation. And let's go ahead, come up into this lower lunge, and we're going to pulse here at the top just for a few moments. But then we're going to step it back enough that we're closer to marriage proposal pose. Hips are over the back knee. Arch the back, stick your bum back. And then pull tailbone forward, pulling the core in. And this is going to affect my right thigh, whatever knee is on the ground. And with this pulling of the tailbone forward, dropping down through my sacrum, I can pulse forward. Not arching, just pulsing forward. Inhale and exhale it up. And then how low can you go with this tailbone pulling forward? Range of motion is lower, but the stretch is deeper. And then exhale, release the hands down, and whatever way you want to meet me, coming into a seated, feet together, knees wide, cobbler's pose. Now it's about inner thighs, about open hips, and a little bit of awareness of the knees. Let's go ahead and rock a little side to side. Nice little side to side sway. And then pause, inhale up nice and tall. Pull chest forward. So I'm holding onto my shins so I can really press breastbone, sternum forward. Shoulder blades down and back. I like the bum massage, so I keep rocking even though that's not part of this exercise. And then gently relax, take the legs out to the side. Whatever the side means for you. Don't worry about doing the splits. This is not a split move. This is about hands to thighs, and start at the top. Use your hands to add this little wiggle. And work your way down. And keep going as far as you can. Now, if you're reaching towards the ankles, don't round the spine. That idea of pulling courageous heart forward, that's what we're going for. And then add a little sway, just going side to side. Slowing things down, and I want you to really just take your time and hands on your own body. Each exploration going a little deeper, a little lower. Inhale and exhaling it up. And slowly come in, lean back, bring your heels together. back into cobbler's pose, and we're going to transition onto our back in a moment. So I'm just going to switch angles here so I don't hit my head on the wall. Rocking a little side to side. And forward fold down, wherever your body lets you go. And then slowly round your way back up. Pull those knees in and lower yourself to the ground nice and slow. Whoop. My head was going to hit the floor. Knees into chest. Rock a little side to side. One hand on each knee, circle the knees around and away from each other. And then slide your hands down your shins, find your feet. Happy baby pose. Also known as dead bug pose in Scotland. So, not sure how I feel about that. I like to rock. It just feels good in my body. I'm not, whoa, sorry, I'm rocking too far. I'm not trying to lift my bum up. I'm trying to press my lower back and my sacrum down to the ground. Release your feet. Feet to the ground, knees bent. And I'm going to keep my hands to the sky, just so I can sway. And keep this awareness, this stability through the base of my shoulders. And then pause. Inhale, reach the arms up all the way up overhead without letting your back arch or your ribs flare. Circle the arms down towards the knees by keeping your arms and hands close to the floor. Bring those knees in and just give yourself a hug. And if you want any last stretch, any last twist, explore for a few breaths here if there's anything else your body is craving or pleading for or asking for. I'm going to make my way up by rocking forward and back, coming into seated, because what my body is really asking for is spinal spiral waves. My body really wants to anchor in and just create movement for the spine, shoulders, and neck. And wherever you are, pause. Meet me up in seated if you're not there yet. We're going to do a few movements going side to side. Right hand down, left arm over, but don't lean forward. Stay in this side bend. And we switch. Inhale. Exhale to deepen that side bend. And you can hug that elbow in of the arm. So I could, if I've got the mobility, I can go all the way on my forearm without lifting up my bum cheek, keeping that bum cheek down. Bring it up. Now on this side, it's not as easy. If I lean too far, my bum cheek comes up. Let's go for one more each side. Last one. And circle the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands to your heart. Both hands over your heart. Find a little sway. Just breathe into this space for a few moments. And then setting an intention for your day or for your week ahead. How do you want to show up and how do you want to feel? Take a deep breath, exhale, big sigh. And that was a flow to surrender with some bands.